says 30 FIPS and 0 peeps. But I just explained the history. We went through the etymology of most of the words. And then we went through the history of the French. And why are the French so French? You know, we've been doing that. We've been making videos and not recording. And, you know, I think there's always a conflict. There's always a problem. It says 30 FIPS, but it says 0 pips. Maybe I'll just give it a few minutes. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there's always a problem with planning people. Really, what I need is 2 people. What do they say? 2 is a party, 3 is a crowd, or something like that. 2 is a couple, 2 is a friendship, 2 is a bond, 2 is a number.
Husband and wife.
2 is a husband and wife, 2 is a family, 2 is a, you know, it's dyad, 2 is a dualistic system. But 3, when you have 3, then you can have 2 people talking and 1 person recording. I feel like you kind of need 3 people. So the fact that I'm not really set up with 3 people here, that's a problem. The fact that I don't have the 3 people going, that's an issue. And I should have realized that long ago, that there needs to be 1 man at all times who's the designated cameraman. Alright, it's working. Yeah, you need a designated cameraman. And we've got some videos in the pipeline, you know. We've recorded some videos, and they might come out. I did not plan necessarily streaming today. It is sort of a spontaneous stream today. We'll see how long this one lasts. Usually we go, you know, between 30 minutes to 2 hours. And, you know, we're looking at the different options and the different things. Hey, Bruce. Hey, babe. What's going on, babe? Nice to see you, babe. So we're thinking about the different things in the world. We're contemplating the different aspects of reality. And one of the subjects is like, hey, baby. Hey, baby, how you doing, baby? We're not complimenting women as much as we should. All right, this is getting off the rails. We got to get back on track. One of the questions that was asked, hey, BB, hello, BB, shalom. One of the questions that was asked was about metaphysics and the interaction between, like, why do people philosophize? Bilbo Baggins, the bonobo. Why do people philosophize? And Nietzsche has his own theory of this. And I think there's basically 2 answers to the question of why people do philosophy. Picnic basket. Yeah, picnic baskets are delicious. Why do people philosophize? Why do people think about metaphysics and the reason, the grounding, the why behind things? And there's 2 explanations, and one is sort of like this evolutionary psychology, like Richard Dawkins, like you have to display fitness without constantly threatening your life. So the way you do that is through performance. You do that through dance. You do that through artwork. You do it through things that are not exigent. They're not immediately important, but they relate to skills and abilities that have to do with your capacity to survive changes in the environment. So there's that explanation. It's like, why do we keep asking why we're here? I'm going to play tennis soon. Any suggestions? Get groovy with it. If you don't, you know, I say get a nice colorful pair of shoes if you don't have one already. I would suggest dressing in all neon. I'd say today's is sort of an 80s day. So you're going to want a sweatband. You're going to want like as bright colors as possible to intimidate your opponent. Warm up the shoulders. That's always great. Stretch, warm up. get ready for that. Yeah, think about that one. So we're asking this question, why do things exist? Why is the universe here? Why? Neon blue shorts, that's a good one. Why? What's that, what's the purpose of that? Where does that come from? Does that come from the fact that God created us in this teleology where we're supposed to get back to Him, but like He created us with free will, and so we have the choice to be separate, and so our quest is to choose to be like Him rather than to be forced to be like Him, and to be like Him is to know the origin of everything. So we keep asking these questions because we're trying to reunite with God, because God is the reason for being. He is the one behind all of this. So yeah, those two sorts of ones, you have the Richard Dawkins, sort of Nietzsche, even though Nietzsche was very early in the history of the philosophy of evolution, or the theory of evolution, he still had these types of ideas. And then you have the more, Aquinas, proper shoulder strap placement. Existence is defined by the process of returning to source. Yeah, that I would say is the more right-hand concept that there, and just right-wing concept that there is an ultimate good, which is the source of everything, and we're sort of returning to that source. The other, which I would say starts with Schopenhauer, because Schopenhauer can be read in a right-wing way, but I believe out of Schopenhauer's pessimism, you get Nietzschean left-hand path stuff. Like, I think that when you look at God and you say God created everything and He's the origin of all things, you can obtain comfort from that. You can say, okay, well, great, now we know what it's all about, and we're satisfied, and we're at peace. But other people would say that's a form of slavery. Other people would say that's a form of framing. That's a form of, I can't get out, like there's nothing besides God, like we don't have true independence. My wife is left-handed. Randy, I didn't know you had a wife. This is news to me. Randy and Bulkington, I always combine the two in my head. They always seem similar to me. Randy, have we spoken? We should speak, Randy. I think I've spoken with Bulkington. But there's a lot of left. Do a critique of Islam. I have videos on those. You should go watch them. I think it's called Cernovich Don't Convert to Islam. So I've already done that video. I could rehash it. I could simply say to you that Islam as a religion is not distinct or unique from other religions. It has certain, you could say, distinctions or uniquenesses, but ultimately all of the add much that's unique. I don't see anything in Islam that is, there are certain, again, on a class analysis, you say, okay, there's a warrior class element here. That, obviously there's a majoritarian strategy versus a minoritarian strategy with Islam, at least in the countries where it's predominating. So there's all kinds of things that you can talk about with Islam. But as far as an argument concerning why I am not a Muslim, I don't feel that Islam adds anything besides Arabic cultural chauvinism. The fact that Arabic is the language of the Quran, it grants a privileged position to the Arabic script and to Arabic culture, such that now that people go to the Middle East and they say Syrians are Arabs, people from Saudi Arabia are Arabs, Egyptians are Arabs, Jordanians are Arabs, Iraqis are Arabs. You just start calling all these people Arabs who originally have these separate tribal distinctions, ethnic distinctions, ultimately, previously, linguistic distinctions, but all of that is washed away. So if you're an Arabic cultural supremacist, if you believe in the superiority of the Arabic culture and you want to promote that, then Islam probably is a vehicle for that. But if that doesn't interest you, then, what's the point? Connection issues. We are going through a bad area. It says we're reconnected. I don't like the way that my words are being interrupted, so this could be a very short stream. I forgot to do the introduction. The introduction is Arab is like white. If instead of white we said Anglo-Saxon, I guess. Yeah, that's decent. I'm feeling that. Interesting. Okay. We might have to pause the stream, but I just wanted to say I'm driving from Thoughts on Current Situation Ukraine. It's just a continuation of 2014 and earlier trends. I don't really have updates. I think I've talked about Ukraine in my videos on Russia and on the concept of the Visegrad. So you have the Visegrad, the Atlanticists, and the Russians. And you need to understand those three concepts to understand what's happening in Ukraine. It's a power struggle. And some people are pro-Ukrainian and some people are pro-Russian for various reasons. People feel Russia's more traditional. Again, people look at Russia in the same way they look at Islam. It's going to reinvigorate Western European culture. I don't believe that. I believe Russia is degenerating. I'm not an Orthodox Christian. I have friends who are Orthodox Christians. I don't bash Orthodox Christianity, but I feel that Russia is using Orthodoxy very cynically. The Russian state, Putin, I do not believe Putin is some kind of priest or something like that. He's a KGB agent. I don't think he's changed a lot of his views. I think the KGB essentially survived the collapse of the Soviet Union, and he was part of that, restructuring. I have some different takes on Russia. I don't believe, not really pro-Ukrainian, especially.